Hi and welcome to Oracle. Very excited to get to make this video for you guys. I'm super excited to meet you and get started on the yearbook. It's crazy, but we're actually a little behind, so we had to get started right away. Usually at this point we have so much more figured out, but that is to be determined, which is why I started that off there. So this is to be determined, Oracle 2021. So our staff mission, as members of the Carlisle High School yearbook staff, our goals are to showcase student achievement and experience, memorialize the year, provide entertainment and enjoyment, and give a voice to members of the community. All right, so if you think about the yearbook, really it does meet all of these goals. And you know, when we're coming together to bring this book to fruition, to make it available for everybody to purchase and to enjoy, we have to keep those goals in mind. Some staff activities. As a member of this class, you'll be expected to do a variety of activities, which may include, but are not limited to, reading, writing, interviewing, editing, photography, layout, ad sales, and layout design. Some of these activities may ask you to step out of your comfort zone, but those are also the most rewarding to you as a student of journalism. I do understand that there are times that I'm going to ask you to do things and you may feel a little nervous about them, and that's okay. You can tell me about being nervous. I'm going to ask you to get over it a little, but those are where the moments where we grow, and I look forward to those moments actually the most. So let me know what I can do to help you in those. Life in Tier 2, yearbook in a Tier 2 situation, or a Tier 1, I think is a whole new book. So we're gonna do our best and try to make this work, and I know at the end of the year we will have a yearbook. I'm confident in that. So each week you will have 4 activities that we're going to be focusing on in Schoology. And they will be broken down as the following. An interview activity, it might involve social media or surveys or phone calls or discussion boards, might involve selling ads. A photography activity, you might be taking photos or editing photos or getting those photos from other people. Design activity, this is really important for us right now, especially planning, looking at other books, journalism basics. And then a writing activity might involve copy, which is another word for like the text in the yearbook, captions, headlines, advertising documents, scripts, maybe if we're doing some kind of a Her TV commercial, things like that. We will also have a weekly Zoom meeting as a whole staff on Wednesday mornings, 10:30 to 11. So with the A-Day, B-Day split, we're not actually in the room all at the same time, and it's not an even split either. I think it's closer to about 2/3 on a B day and 1/3 on an A day. So this is really important that we have this time together on Wednesday mornings. Okay, and the link is on Schoology. I'll make sure that it's there every week for you. It's always the same link, so you don't have to worry. All assignments will be due no later than Sunday night at 11:59. So what I did was I'll have everything up there for you at the beginning of the week. I encourage you to work ahead, get your stuff done, but each week we'll have an order of activities. So I want you to do things in a certain order, and each day of the week I will have a recommended task so that I can try to keep everybody on the same page and the same structure, especially so that when we talk on Wednesdays, we've already had the Monday and Tuesday activities, and hopefully you've looked at those. But if you needed to go back and fix something, or if you needed to have a little bit more time to finish it, I wanted to make sure that you had that whole week to polish it up. Hopefully that's going to work well, but I do ask that you stay flexible with me. We have to see if that's going to work, and especially when we tie in any attendance expectations from the school district. First marking period, I've been calling this one Oracle 101. It's just our way to get used to what it's like to be on the Oracle staff, get a lot of the planning done. We are behind, as I mentioned before. Usually we leave the school year with a theme and a cover, and maybe even some plans for designs or positions on the staff. And last spring we just did not have that. So we have to do a little bit of catch up with that process. But I'm hoping that I have a nice plan for us for this marking period so that we can get ourselves in a good shape. There is a typo. I just noticed that it says first 9 weeks, because usually a marking period is 9 weeks, but this one is 8. So I did edit that in the list here. Okay, so you can kind of take a look at what we'll be doing. These are all spelled out in Schoology as well, though I will say I am working with us on a week-to-week basis right now. If I get ahead of the game and I can put more things into Schoology, I will. But I at least wanted to give you an idea of where we were heading. I personally am a planner. I like to have an idea of what's happening next and so forth and so on. But it takes a little bit of time to get everything onto Schoology and have it be interactive. So it's not all in there yet. Plus, with all of our things that we're going to be doing from week to week, they may impact what the next week looks like. So just a heads up there. So those of you returning to staff from a previous year, you will have options to get coverage of different activities and create content within these units. If you're looking at stuff and you're like, oh, this seems too familiar, so such as StudioWorks introductions, that might be some time that we can actually start working on design. Other thing I wanted to point out really quickly, my hope is that by the end of the first marking period, everyone has at least one completed layout, and we'll go from there. Okay. Other marking periods, the current plan is to be in production mode for the rest of the year, working in 3-week cycles. We'll do some spread planning, source gathering, beat check. I'll talk more about that in second marking period. Spread production week 2, and then revising and publishing. But I should point out to you guys here, depending on our staff numbers and the content being covered and or our proximity, so how close we are to a deadline with Balfour, you may have several spreads being completed at one time. And for those of you that are new here, a spread just refers to 2 pages of the yearbook. I actually have a book right here, so this would be a spread of the yearbook. So we'll talk more about that as we go. And I have some changes in regards to the spreads that I will talk about more here later. Deadlines and grading, I just want to point out meeting deadlines is essential. Not to bash on any other class at the school, but I will pick English for me because I'm an English teacher. So if you're in an English class and you decide, you know what, I'm not going to do my homework tonight, maybe it puts you back in that process. Maybe it makes it a little harder for you to participate in class. But for yearbook deadlines, those deadlines refer to the actual publication of the pages, publication of the book as a whole. So if you don't turn in your work on time, you're now actually affecting other people as well, right? As a staff, we have these deadlines with Balfour, and we need to make sure that they're being met. If you're not doing your work, we can't send the yearbook to press. And if we can't send the yearbook to press on time, then we might not get the yearbook on time. And then we have to worry about getting everybody their copy of the book, which actually we're still dealing with everything that happened last spring. So that is really a challenge, and you're going to see that actually in action. So hopefully, if you're somebody who needs a little extra reminder for deadlines, we're going to work together this year to make sure that you're sticking to the schedule. Other things you can just expect: a grading breakdown of class activities, drafts of spreads. It's going to be really important to make sure that we're taking time to plan, organize, and revise, and then the final content. A basic idea of a staff position breakdown. There's me up here at the top of the advisor, but then some possibilities. We could have an editor-in-chief, and then somebody in charge of photography and somebody in charge of content. So photography, all of the images in the book, and then content, all of the topics being covered. And then we'd have specific photographers, and we could also have spread editors, those that are in charge of actually putting the spreads together. However, this is just a possible structure. In the past, we've also had a theme editor, we've had a deadline editor, we've had design, sales, ad manager, social media manager. So if you are the kind of person who's looking for a leadership position and be able to spruce up that resume for college and things like that, talk to me. We can find you a leadership position in the staff. New this year, so I mentioned this kind of a little bit before, so we are going to try a different approach with how our book is organized. It's called chronological approach, and we're going to do this by seasons. So in essence, we're just going to basically work from the beginning of the book back through what's happening. Where in the past, we've always done sections. We've had a sports section and a people section and things of that nature. I'll talk a lot more about that in the organizing the books week when we get there, but basically this is because we don't know what's going to happen from week to week, maybe even day to day. So we're going to just try to approach the book a little bit differently this year. We are going to be selling tributes and business ads actually with our yearbook sales, which is a really cool thing. It's going to help us hopefully earn some money and also honor our seniors, which can be a really big push of mine this year. White space, we're going to embrace the white space. And white space refers to all the space in a design that is not actually filled with content. I'm like learning my video here. There we go. We're going to try more what's called magazine style layouts, which is a bit more feature based, more profiles, things of that nature, and we're going to use that white space to our advantage. Nice thing not in advertising, in yearbook land, that's autograph space if nothing else, and people always want to have autograph space. All right. Excuse me, I talk too much. So getting back to that to be determined idea in the beginning of this PowerPoint. So every year a yearbook has a theme, for example. And we need a theme. We haven't decided that yet. We don't have a cover yet. So we need to start thinking about what will this look like? Who will it involve? What will it involve? How will it shape our book? Just a few ones from the past. We've had Spark, CHS Defined, Every Moment Counts, Silver Linings, and Seeing 2020. So I'm curious to see what this year will bring, and that's one of the first things we're going to talk about next week. I will admit, as I was putting together this PowerPoint, I kind of like the idea of to be determined, because this year is to be determined. We don't know what's going to happen. And then we could also play on the idea of being determined, being dedicated, being ready to take on whatever challenges. So just throwing that out there. I have been thinking about that a little bit. I have lots of theme ideas actually in my mind, but I can't wait to actually talk to you and see what you're thinking about in regards to some possibilities. A theme does need to reflect the year. It needs to reflect what's going on at Carlisle, or if nothing else, what's going on in the yearbook. So I can't wait. It's going to be fun. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are feeling excited. It's going to be a great year, no matter what happens, right? It's to be determined. All right. Bye, guys.